everyone. Welcome inside the Red Earth Production Studios for this edition, special edition of YBMcast, our player spotlight. And today I am pleased to welcome into the studio. Do you go by Mike or Michael?
It all depends. I mean, some people call me Mike, some people call me Michael. Usually Michael, but then you get Callahan on the field.
Michael Callahan from Lafayette High School and Missouri State Bears commit. Thanks for joining us, man.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. We were talking before we started. I met this young man at Lindenwood. We were at a PBR event, and, it's been a few years, but here he is, a senior. And I always love this part of it because I love doing player spotlights with seniors because we've gone through a few things. We've had a few conversations. We've talked, watched him play baseball, and now we're here.
Made it. Survived high school.
Absolutely. I'm going to drop this like that for you there.
Perfect. Thank
Cool. You. So we want people to hear what you have to say. I always like to start going way back, in the Wayback Machine. You're not too old that you can't. Me, the gray hair, man, it's sucking my will to live. It's just the way it is. But nonetheless, your youth baseball is from, my opinion, elementary school, like when you're in 4, 5, and 6, all the way up to high school, still youth baseball, in my opinion. But when you were starting in elementary school, how old were you when you started?
When I started playing baseball?
Yeah.
I stepped in for my sister during T-ball when I was 3.
Is that right?
Yeah, I wasn't supposed to be playing, but she quit mid-game. I was like, Mom, I want to go play, so I went and hopped in for her.
I love it. 3 years old, huh? Were you bigger? Or?
I mean, I was a normal-sized kid.
Yeah.
I swung here and there at 3, but really started playing at 5, I would say.
Did you get any hits?
I mean, off the tee, probably. I mean, I hope so. I hope I can hit the ball off the tee.
Remember, right?
Too long, Getting too old for that.
Exactly. So you start in there that way. Was your dad the coach, or did you play for somebody else? How did that work?
So I grew up in Iowa. So I played in a league called BPV Elementary School. Mm-hmm. So it was other dads. My dad would never be my coach. He didn't want to do that. He wouldn't have the coach's kid on his team. He didn't want to be that. But no, it was good. So you'd try out. It was kind of one of those throw together teams, and you'd play in a league, and then there would be an all-star team at the end of the season. Mm. So I made the all-star team one year, and I got recruited to a kid pitch team right after. So that's how I kind of went from one team to another, was through this all-star team, which was crazy because then I got one of my biggest mentors that I'd say throughout baseball, Kevin Berry, who became my coach, who just became great family friends and just a great person for me.
Absolutely. So was it, when you were starting off, and were all the clubs? I was just at the very beginning, or how that where were you at in that dynamic?
Sorry, can you say that again?
So
clubs,
club
like
baseball,
Tigers and
like
everything.
The Tigers,
Yeah.
Where were you at in that evolution?
I played for some of the smaller teams.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't really start playing. So when I first moved here, I played for the Missouri Razorbacks.
Okay.
You know who Trent Redbicki is?
I've heard the name.
Yeah, so they were a part of the Tigers, then left when we moved here, so we joined them. And I would say I started playing real club baseball my freshman year when I went to the Tigers.
Okay. All right. So I love that, though. A little independent ball,
yeah.
right?
No, it was fun.
Heck yeah. It was cool because we were over at the Rawlings Training Center the other night, and the St. Louis Extreme. Mark Baden's group, they're the group of kids still playing high school ball, but they're independent. I think that's still those spaces for that. I love the clubs and all that stuff, but it's cool that it's still in there. Every now and again, you get those guys are still independent.
Yeah, it's awesome. The best part about clubs is the facilities you get.
Yes,
that was the big difference from going from there to that is.
And I think when you're going into your freshman year, you're looking at your growth and where you're going. It's a good situation, right?
100%.
If you're 12.
You don't need all that.
It's good to go and have a place to go inside and practice.
Yeah.
Right? I love that. Hey, I love all the clubs. Don't worry about it. They're fine.
You get to play ball.
Exactly. How did your parents, help you in this situation growing up? I noticed your dad, he said, no, I ain't coaching. But your parents, how involved were they in your development as an athlete?
So my mom played college soccer and my dad played college basketball. So they both wanted me to play their sports.
Ah,
So my dad wanted me to play basketball. My mom wanted me to do soccer. So I was doing all three at the time. So I was doing baseball, basketball, and soccer. So I would have some fun doing the other two, but I really liked baseball the most. So they were like, all right, fine. They're like, we're not going to force you to do anything. So they just honestly just pushed me and let me do whatever I wanted and had my back 100% through it and said they'd do whatever I needed in order to become better.
there you go. I know, parents, it is, you want to see your kids succeed in, something
you
that
did.
right?
Mhm.
Yeah, yeah. Did you like playing soccer or basketball better?
I liked soccer better.
Yeah.
I don't know why. It was just fun because I was always super quick. So I just kicked the ball past everyone and then run back and get it again after. I was just like right up the field.
It's always interesting, those two sports, because I played soccer growing up. It was one of the first sports I ever coached when I was in college.
Yeah.
And because I thought it was fun. I enjoyed coaching and whatnot. And then I loved basketball is a fantastic
It
sport.
is. It's really fun.
Yeah.
I would agree. It's fun.
Yeah. It's probably my favorite sport as far as playing is concerned.
Yeah.
I always wanted to play basketball. But I enjoy coaching baseball probably the most. I think it's the strategy and the things and whatnot. I think it's very interesting.
I agree.
That's me personally. What do you remember? You brought up your coach from that the Missouri Razorbacks team, right?
Mm-hmm.
What do you remember most about your elementary, middle school? I ain't gonna say career. It's not a career. Playing time.
I don't know. It just seems like it was all just like fun. Like you get to go out there, you get to play catcher, then you go play pitcher the next inning, and then you'll go play some shortstop, and then after that you'll play center field. It's just like you got to bounce around everywhere and just enjoy living in the moment with zero stress on you. It's just like you're like there having fun. Like I'm still having fun, but back then you're still just a kid,
Right.
a little kid,
Right.
right? So it's just like I get to be outside doing something I truly enjoy doing, which is how I thought of it.
Did you when you were moving to positions and whatnot, did you even consider how that may help you as a get better as a baseball player?
No, I just thought it was because I was best, No, I just thought it was always fun to try something new, and our coach was always up for it because he was like, all right, everyone's got to know how to do everything. He's like, because it'll be the best for you later on. If you can play multiple positions, you'll be able to play more often than not when there's a
Right.
spot open.
Right.
So it kind of helped leading into middle school with a new team and as well as high school, trying to find a spot onto the varsity roster. Being able to play infield and outfield helps you out a ton.
Absolutely. So your coach, what was his name again?
Kevin Very.
Kevin Very. Talk to us about Kevin. What was it about Coach Very that helped you? And what was it about him that you enjoyed the most about that?
Just him as a person. He was just always like the nicest person to all of us, and he knew everything as a kid, right? He knew everything.
Right.
He'd help us with our swings, he'd help us with fielding. He was just like, he was always like there. And then we became really close family friends because of the team, which just made it even better because like even still to this day, he texts me every like here and there. He's like, hey, I saw you do this. He's like super awesome, proud of you for that. He's just like a person you can go back to and talk to because of like how welcome he makes you feel.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I love that. And I think there's always got to be those moments where somebody in your life, your parents are always there. Those are the people, your rocks. But, to have that person that you can say, hey, I appreciate what you did for me. That's
Yeah.
kind of cool, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely. You got into middle school playing baseball. High school is a whole different experience, isn't it?
Truly, yeah.
Yeah.
Very different.
Talk to us about your first year, as a freshman, you're walking in. Were you'd played all these different positions. Had you thought about what you wanted to do when you got into high school as far as position or those types of things?
Going into high school, I was thinking I want to learn to play the outfield because I looked at our varsity team and I saw we didn't have very many outfielders.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, all right, let me try and learn to do this. And ended up not making varsity, but I made JV, and they had me as a third baseman. So it was really like, I don't know how it all happened, but I ended up playing the infield when I wanted to play the outfield to try and make a varsity roster. But they had the spots filled out there, so I just filled in the infield.
There you go. And play wherever you can, right? Get on the field.
Every time.
I like it. When you think about your coming into that experience, is there something you would have thought you'd have maybe done different?
Get bigger.
You can't help that, bro.
Eat more. Pick up the fork. I mean, if I look as big as those varsity guys, they'll get me on the field with them.
Did you really? And honestly, I think this is an interesting thing. I've talked to a lot of different players about that experience and whatnot. Did you believe you were going to make the varsity squad when you walked in there?
I thought I was going to. Then in my mind, I was dead set that I was going to make that team.
You got to have that mindset, though, don't you?
Kill or be killed.
I like it. That's. I just said that. We were. It's funny because I have this saying, and when I was coaching through this, I believe this, especially in baseball. If you do not execute, you will be executed.
Yeah.
Right.
Because
it's just the way it is. If you can't execute, and I think that goes to some of the philosophy you guys have on your high school team now is putting a lot of pressure on a defense to execute, and putting that pressure sometimes is a little bit overwhelming, isn't it?
Force them to make a mistake.
Exactly.
It's the easiest part.
Yeah. When you got you've been playing baseball coming up, you play your freshman year, you go to the Tigers, the Rawlings Tigers. What has been that experience like being with the Rawlings Tigers from your freshman year?
I mean, just great connections, great people. I've been hitting with Coach Spiker Helms since I was in, I want to say, 7th grade. So I'd already been kind of hitting in like the Tigers facilities with him, and he was always like secretly been trying to recruit me over. So finally, my freshman year, we were like, if we're gonna go anywhere, we got to go to the Tigers because of Spiker. So he's been awesome. He's an incredible person. You got Coach Burkby and Coach Jaws. I mean, all those guys there.
Yeah.
Coach Pratt. I mean, the just amount of resources you have at your fingertips through them is more than you could ever imagine.
We were there this past 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Something like that. I was on the 28th, whatever. I don't even know what day it is anymore. But we were there, and we really enjoy going to, talk with those guys. And, they have a great program. Like you said, Dave Burkby. First time I really met Spiker Helms, he had sat down and did a conversation with Coach Sissel and Leo Humbert. And listening to that, it was really interesting.
Yeah.
And they are some good, the facilities, the people, Aaron Jaworski, I think they do a great job with their program.
I 100% agree.
So it's the way it is, right?
Yeah.
Freshman, what team were you playing on?
In high school?
No. The with the Tigers.
Oh, I was on Velo 2. It was the 1 year they had 2 Velo teams.
Is that right? So did you travel a lot?
We traveled, I want to say 3 times.
3 times? Where'd you guys go?
We went to Kentucky, Indiana, and I want to say Kansas City.
And as a freshman in that program, and you were going into that after your freshman year, you'd play JV. What were your thoughts about where you thought you wanted to go as far as college? Had you thought that far ahead yet?
So going into my freshman year, like as an 8th grader, I didn't even think playing college baseball was like possible for me. Then coming into the summer, I was like, okay, like maybe I played JV, but like all these other kids that are getting recruited are already on varsities. I'm like, maybe that's just a long shot. But I started thinking like, well, if I want to play college baseball, I want to play somewhere I can start. So I was thinking like, I want to go to Arkansas. So I thought I was so good. I'm like, I'm going to Arkansas. I'm playing in the SEC. I'm like, I want to be that guy. So that's where my mindset was as a freshman. End of the summer, I kind of toned it down and got a little bit more realistic. But yeah.
What did that mean, realistic? What was your thoughts then? and what made you realize, and what were the kind of those markers, if for players that understand where's the reality of those things?
I mean, looking in the mirror, looking at yourself, checking out their rosters, see how their guys are size-wise. Like, if you're checking an SC roster, you're not really going to see many guys under 5'11" and under 185 pounds. Generally, their starters in Power 5 are going to be over 200 pounds or at least 190, and they're all going to be 5'10" to over 6 foot, right?
Mm-hmm.
So size becomes a huge thing. Age, with the transfer portal now, most of these big schools have money to be able to bring in these older kids who are more developed and actually have already played in college.
Mm-hmm.
So that's another thing you have to realize and understand is how many guys are they bringing in each year.
Right.
So that's something else. If you're going to a school that's bringing in 20 guys a year, your odds of starting just got a lot slimmer because now you have 20 guys to compete with to make the team in the fall, and then 40 guys that are already on the team.
It's just the way it is, isn't it? And how many guys, and I think it's interesting too. Then you got to look at if you're an outfielder, who's ahead of you there.
Yeah.
Correct?
Yeah.
And if you got 5, 6, 7 guys in front of you,
what's the point? Like, maybe you're good enough to beat those guys out, but if that's a kid that's 20 years old that's got accolades already from playing,
yeah, if you're behind an All-American,
it's going to be a little bit harder.
you're in trouble. Even an all-conference player,
Yeah.
right? I mean, it's just difficult to crack. And I don't think let's go backwards here a little bit with that thought process. I think that's a great look at this. Here you are coming in as a freshman.
Yeah.
Do we even have that same mindset when we walk in there? Are we looking at the roster? How many kids in the 8th grade at 14U really know who plays on the high school team where they're going?
I would say as an 8th grader, I knew who was there for high school, but college, I didn't even bat an eye to. Like, I didn't even think of, like, where I wanted to go to college and who's on that team and who's playing my position and how many people there. Like, that never crossed my mind.
Right. So, but you did know going into high school as a freshman who you were going to be competing against.
Oh, yeah, I knew who I wanted to beat out. I was like, I got to beat this guy out if I can do this and do that. It's just...
Well, I think that's great because you're kind of an anomaly there because there's a lot of kids I ask about that. They've not even seen their high school team play.
Really?
Yeah. So I think take some advice, guys.
Just don't go to the district games when they lose.
Don't go to the district games.
Those are the ones I'd go to. Let's go to the ones where they get run-ruled by Marquette.
How important do you think that is as a freshman, if you're going into your school, to know who the coach is, to have been to the camps and things of that nature?
I think that's probably the most important thing is getting your name out there, knowing who's on the team, knowing who your coach is, familiarizing yourself with the people. Like, as a freshman, right, you're already at school. You have an entire semester prior to meet some of these guys. Lafayette, we start our practice January 3rd.
Mm-hmm.
So you can meet all these guys that are on varsity and that played JV last year that are juniors now. You can meet all of them in these 2 months leading up to it. Show yourself to the coach. Show you're not just sucking up to him, right? No one likes to suck up. So show you're actually working and that you're there for a reason. Just know who you're competing with at the same time. So they can be your friend, but at the same time, when it comes down to time, you got to beat them out.
How well were you treated as an incoming freshman by seniors? Is that something? And then you looking back at your experience and you being a senior and you got the incoming freshman, what are those dynamics like?
When I was coming in, the guys they were all super nice guys. All those seniors and juniors I became really good friends with. If you make a play that stands out, they're going to like you. So in tryouts, I hit a home run off of one of the pitchers, and they're like, wow, that was super cool. And I was like, yeah, I know, put me on varsity. But no, it's just...
Exactly, guys.
If you hit a home run, you're going to make a lot of friends. But no,
That's true.
They were all super nice guys, and that's kind of how we've tried to keep it going throughout the years, is just welcome them, right? Because you know exactly how you felt that first day of practice. So make sure you try and help that kid and make him feel comfortable with where he's at, not doubt himself. Because mindset's the biggest thing.
I agree, especially, and if seniors understand these guys are the future of the program too, right? Because you're this your last year. I think it's important to leave the program as healthy as you found it.
Yeah.
If you can, right?
You just got to show those kids the ropes.
Exactly. Give them a little bit.
Yeah.
You got to give them a little.
You can't be too nice.
You give them just a little.
A little tough love.
Who were the seniors that helped you grow as an athlete that freshman year coming in and helped you through that time?
So I would say it was more the juniors that year because
Okay.
I became super close to them going into my sophomore year. It was like Trip Johns, Sam Williams, just a bunch of those guys I became good friends with. But they just always pushed us, right? I had one bad practice and everyone yelled at me, right? Like they were there, like because they could tell I was out of it, not doing my best, so they get on you.
Mm-hmm.
It's like there's like the good constructive criticism that the teammates can give each other, and it's not just DuPont.
Right.
And that's like the biggest thing is us holding each other accountable. And that's what they did. They held me accountable, which made me better and understand, hey, you can't do this. You got to do this. It's just like the small things.
As a player, though, you got to be able to recognize that and know that that's what's happening. Are there guys that don't take that very well?
Yeah, there are guys here and there that will not like you, right? Not everyone's going to like each other, but you have to try your best even though.
No, I mean, the guys that I'm sorry.
Like with your criticism, they don't like
yeah,
it. Yeah,
or, because a freshman, and like you said, they were like giving, hey, come on, man, you got to step it up.
Yeah.
How are there some guys that don't react well to that?
Yeah, sometimes.
Sometimes.
But you just got to keep you pepper them at a moderate pace. You don't want to go at them at 100%. It's just like just build your way up slowly but surely. It's kind of how I look at it.
How different is high school ball and summer ball?
Very different. I would say high school ball is your family. Summer ball, you're just kind of thrown together to play tournaments here and there to stay fresh. I feel like in a way summer ball is kind of turned into a do what's best for yourself in a way to get recruited because like when you're playing in high school, right, you're playing for a state championship, you're playing for your high school. In summer ball, you're playing for a weekend trophy. It's just like going from a state championship run to that. It's just like it's really weird and totally different.
Does the trophy really matter that much on the weekends?
No.
No? Why?
I don't know because it's not like it's a weekend later, no one's going to remember it. If you win a state championship at high school, you're going to be remembered. I mean, we still remember the guys in 72, 73, 74, the only state championships Lafayette had.
Right?
Like, you're going to remember that.
I think that's an interesting point, young man. I agree because me, with what we do, and I'm a transplant myself. I did not go to high school in this area at all. So I'm a transplant. Now, my kids grew up here, and they're part of that and all that. And it was cool because my son went to Fort Zumwalt East. Mm. And it was cool this last, couple of years ago where East went to the Final Four. It's the first time they won it. And that was cool to me, And like you said, you remember those things the first time and things of that nature. And so I do think that is why high school is a little different in those respects, rather than summer ball. But I always love to get the perspective of players because there are different dynamics. And how do you approach, each season? So when you get done with high school, what's your thought process going into the summer?
I'm going into this to try and better myself and each other, right? Because you're playing with a bunch of your best friends. Like I play like with the Tigers team, it's just all Vianney guys we play against or we play with. So it's like we play against them in districts, and then 2 weeks later I get to play with them. They're not very happy, but in the end it's fine, right? Like we're still all friends,
right?
But like, going into it, it's like okay, now this summer I'm gonna see dudes, right? It's gonna help me prepare myself for later on. Like see better pitching. You're gonna see some great hitters that can hit the ball really hard. Mm-hmm. It's just like it's just like a really good development tool in the summer. Is how I feel. Like summer is developing you for college, right? That's why you do a summer league before you go into college. Mm-hmm. And I don't know. It's just really developing, I'd say.
I agree. I think, you consistently see that upper level pitching.
Yeah.
Whereas in high school, it
fluctuates a lot.
right? Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, 100%.
It's true. I mean, whatever you like to think about it, you're going to see a guy maybe that's 82, and then the next week you might see a guy that's 88, and then back down to maybe
70.
Right? It's true.
Yeah.
It's the reality of it, and I think is that harder to hit in that respect than seeing that consistent velocity and pitching like that?
Yeah. I mean, everyone, it's like, well, you should have good timing. Like,
Right.
if everyone who threw 70, hold on, what is it? I'm trying to think. If pitchers could throw 72 and get all the hitters out, people throwing 72 would be in the MLB, right? So it's like, I can't say I hate seeing 72 because I'm really bad at hitting it because I don't have good timing.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just going from that 85 to 72, which I find difficult.
Yes.
So it's like,
And I think that's what it is. And I think, there's guys that in high school that can throw, 78 to 80 and get guys out.
and it works perfect.
Yeah. And I always say, man, just stay short and just hit it to right center. Easier said than done,
Yeah.
right?
You get a little antsy.
Because you're thinking,
I
man,
was sitting
that
there
thing,
like,
it's blinking.
I want to hit this 500 feet. I was like, I can't.
It's the mind game. Isn't it?
Yeah, 100%.
I love that. That's true, though. It's just, and you're like, as you're sitting there and you're like, God. And now your coach is going, come on, man, help me out.
Yeah. It's like 72, just wait a second.
Oh, mercy. But I think the dynamics, I love that question because you're not the only one that looks at that. And, when we're talking about the summer, the development process, the things like that, and then you come back to high school, this year, you're senior. Last year, you guys had a heck of a run. I didn't see that coming. I didn't think that was coming.
No one did.
No, I agree. And so, there's probably a little more, even though you lost some guys, there's probably a little more expectation this year, you think?
From the guys, yeah. As players, we don't want to lose, right? I mean, who doesn't want to try and win a state championship? But in high school baseball, you need pitching, right? That's your biggest factor, pitching and fielding.
You guys got that.
And we lost one pitcher, Tyson Oswald. He was our other main pitcher, and we still have Drew and Landon. We've got Landon Martin. Asher Kremel, he's a freshman who I think has a chance at making varsity. He's a good arm. He can throw strikes. We got Michael Sin coming back. I mean, as long as our guys can put it in the zone, I trust our defense. Now, we do have to fill 6 spots on the field, but you've got Chase coming back. I'm coming back. Jonah Nosovich, he's a junior who got some playing time last year. He's gotten a lot better in the field. He'll play at first.
You too, man.
CJ Campbell, he'll play short, second, wherever that lands. I like the looks. We have a junior named Nick Schulteis. He can hit the ball really hard. I think he's got a good shot at right field. But we have the pieces to solve the puzzle. It's just a matter of fact so we can all come together and play like a team.
You're one of the few seniors from last year's group. The importance of your leadership, and are you really actively thinking about the role you're going to play in helping these kids come along that way?
I mean, yeah, all of us, all the seniors are. We all, just what can we do to include everyone?
Right.
That's the biggest thing is inclusion. If your team has 2 separate islands, if you have 2 teams in one, you're not going to do well. You have to work together if you're ever going to make it anywhere.
Right.
So that's just what we try our best to do.
It's still a team sport, isn't it? It's the greatest individual team sport I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Right? Because you're standing there by yourself in the box. You're standing on the mound by yourself. You got to rely on the guy next to you to make that play to throw it to you. I mean, it's just the dynamics of baseball to me are just crazy in that respect because individualistically it's there.
Yeah.
You gotta, I always like center fielders like yourself where I always say, if you got a guy in that middle of that park where doubles go to die, you got a really good opportunity.
Yeah.
And how was it covering all that field at US or at Ozark Mountain Sports Complex?
It was fun. I like those fields. It lets me run.
Right?
Like, I'd rather, like, when it comes to fly balls, I would rather run 200 feet to my left than have a ball hit straight at me.
Is that right?
Because there's no thinking when you're running to a ball. You just have to take off and go to it. When a ball's hit straight at you, it's like sitting on your heels on a ground ball, right? You sit there for too long, and then you forget what's going on. Like, so in the outfield, I'd rather run this way, that way to a ball than sit here for it, because who knows what will happen.
And you got trying to figure out if it's backspin or...
Oh, that's the worst. I got burned on a backspin line drive at Lindbergh last year.
And then all of a sudden it carries over your head, and you're like,
it
oh
was
my gosh.
the worst. They would not stop making fun of me for it.
You know,
What are you going to do?
Missouri State, you know, congratulations,
Thank you.
first and foremost. When did that become a reality? When did that start coming into the thought process?
So I went to their hitting clinic. I want to say it was my sophomore winter. I'm 100% sure on. I went there. That was like a 3-hour just hitting clinic, and I was like, all right, this is pretty cool. I really like their stadium. And when we left there, I told my dad, I go, if Missouri State offers me, no matter how much or how little, I'm going to go here. And that's what I said to him that day. And then go play my sophomore year, do that, and then get to my summer after my sophomore year, going into my junior year, and I had my best summer yet. Went to the Future Games, which I think was the biggest help in recruiting ever.
It's amazing, isn't it?
Yeah, because I had never talked to a college coach before. The recruiting rules got all changed going into my sophomore year. So they weren't allowed to talk to us till that August 1st of our junior year. So that was the first time I ever talked to a college coach was that day.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So it was really cool. Yeah.
Were you nervous?
Oh, extremely. We were on vacation. We went from the Futures Games down to Orange Beach for a quick vacation before we had to get back for a football practice. And I was like, hey, guys, you're not going to see me at all today. I sat in our condo all day long that we were staying at and just sat on my phone. I was like, you know, this should be fun.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Missouri State was your first, pretty much.
First choice.
First choice. Why Mo State?
I don't know. There was just something about it. You know, like they say when you step on campus, you're like, you'll have a feeling that this is the right place to be. And that's honestly how I felt. Coaches are young, which is what I've liked throughout high school because I can connect. So having younger coaches is what I like, so I can connect with them. Coach Hawkins has a great track record, right? His hitting philosophy is incredible. And their outfield coach, Coach Jimenez, he's just an awesome guy. I'm just super excited to get down there and be able to practice and meet everybody.
I'm sure you have some goals.
Yeah.
For, making the team and all that. Bogenpole went down there and
Balled out.
lit it up.
Yeah.
My goodness. Crushing baseballs everywhere. Going to get to see some guys from this area. McCutcheon's still down there. So what's your expectation going into the first year?
Obviously playing time. I want to do the best I can in order to play here and there on the field. Just show that I deserve to be there and that I know what I'm doing.
You have aspirations for the next level after that?
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe do that or go out in the real world and get a job. You know,
Why do that if you can still play baseball?
Yeah, I know. Man. It's the day-to-day thing. You gotta have short-term memory. Small goals, step by steps. That's how I've always thought of it.
There you go.
Keep
I
it
like
small.
it. Enjoyed the conversation, young man.
It was fun.
Absolutely. You're gonna have to come back. We'll definitely we got you guys. It's at Eureka this year, but we're gonna be live streaming that game at Eureka with Lafayette. That's always a fun one.
Those are always good games.
Yeah.
For some reason, we can't beat them.
Fireworks in there, you know.
We always split. We can't 2-0 them. We split our JV year. We split my sophomore year and my junior year.
And you guys play a home and home, right?
Home and away, yeah.
Home and
well, yeah. I
a home and home.
Yeah.
That's a basketball term.
But yeah.
A home and
conference.
Away. Yeah. So conference and district. You guys face them straight up.
Yeah.
You guys were in the same district too. They just didn't get to,
Not last year. They lost to
Who was that? Oh my
Was it
gosh.
Marquette or was it Vianney?
I think, or you know what?
I'm pretty sure it
I'm
was
gonna tell you
Marquette.
right
I think
now.
it was Marquette and Eureka, and then
'Cause
Eureka won.
here you are, Eureka, Kirkwood, Lafayette, Lebanon, Marquette, Parkway South, Vianney, and Waynesville were the district. And let's see, I'm trying to remember.
I don't know why I
because-
can't.
Oh my gosh. I don't know I can't remember who they lost to.
I think it was Marquette. Or no, I think Marquette lost to Eureka
Mm-hmm. And
at Vianney because we went to
Class
that game.
6, District 2. We're going to find out right quick right here. Eureka,
Parkway
they
South.
lost to Parkway South. Parkway
Mhm.
South was pretty good. Parkway South, you guys beat them in the championship game of the
Yep.
district after beating Vianney 6-1. And, I mean, your district is always going to be tough. It'll be interesting to see where you guys are at and where the district is this coming year.
No, Vianney this year will be different too because they're going down to Class 5.
That's been the
Right.
hubbub. I'm not quite sure that that's going to happen
You
yet.
don't think so?
Maybe another year, depending upon what happens.
There's so much up in the air. It's
I
like,
know.
what do I listen to? Like, what am I supposed to think? Like, do I have to
You know
wait
what?
until March?
And that's the tragedy of it. Yes,
It's like, I
I
gotta
wish
wait.
we knew already.
It's like, come on, it's not Christmas.
We don't know yet.
Ugh.
We don't know. Mr. Michael Callahan, folks, Lafayette Lancers, Mo State commit. We're going to look forward to seeing you this summer.
Thank you.
I appreciate it. Folks, thanks for tuning in. We do appreciate it. Like, subscribe, all of that stuff. We're exclusive on X with our player spotlights, so please give us a follow. We appreciate that very much. Till next time, everybody have a great day in the Lord. All you pitchers, throwing strikes and hitters, give some advice to hitters.
Bunt the ball, get on base. Put the ball in play, don't hit it too hard.
There you go. I like that.
Just get on base.
We'll see y'all next time.